You know that feeling when you're in a meeting, looking at the exact same data as a colleague, but it feels like you're talking about two completely different projects? Or maybe you've argued with your partner about something and you both want the same thing, but you just can't agree on how to get there. Well, that's because we all have these invisible sorting rules running in the background of our minds, literally shaping our reality. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on these meta-programs.
So here's what we're going to do. First, we'll break down the four most common filters your brain is using all the time. Then, we're going to turn the lens on ourselves and help you spot your own default settings. After that, you'll learn how to hear these patterns in everyone around you, which is a total game changer for communication. And finally, the really cool part, we'll show you how to flip the switch on your own filters, giving you a brand new way to see the world. Let's get into it. So, what exactly are these invisible forces we're talking about? In neurolinguistic programming, or NLP, they're called metaprograms. You can think of them as the basic operating system for your attention. It's the unconscious software that's constantly deciding what you notice and what you just totally ignore. Think of it like this. Your brain has bouncers at the door of your mind, deciding which information gets in and which gets left outside. And here's the absolute most important thing to get from this. These are not fixed personality labels. This is not about putting yourself in a box. It's not who you are. It's just the pattern you're using in that moment. And that means you can change it.
And as NLP co-creator Richard Bandler said, we absolutely need these filters. I mean, imagine trying to listen to every single conversation at a party at the same time. It'd be complete chaos. Your brain has to tune things out. Metaprograms are just the automatic system it uses to decide which conversation to lean into and which one to let fade into the background.
Okay, so let's get practical. There are actually dozens of these patterns, but we're going to focus on four of the most powerful and common ones that you can start noticing, like today, in yourself and in other people.
First up is what drives you, your direction of motivation. Are you moving toward a goal or are you moving away from a problem? Someone with a toward filter is pulled forward by what they want to get, more energy, a new skill, a feeling of accomplishment. An away from person is pushed from behind by what they want to avoid, like stress, failure, or getting into an argument. And it's so important to get this. Neither one is better than the other. They're just two totally different engines for getting things done.
Next up, how do we like to operate? Do you prefer options or procedures? An options person just lights up with possibilities. They love to brainstorm all the different ways to do something. They want choices. A procedures person, on the other hand, just wants the step-by-step plan. They feel safe and confident when they know the correct, proven process from A to Z.
Okay, next question. What does your brain notice first? This is the match versus mismatch filter. A matcher walks into a room and sees how everything coordinates, how it all fits together. They look at a project and immediately see what's working. A mismatcher, though, their brain instinctively spots the one thing that's out of place, the crooked picture on the wall, the typo in the email. It's wired to find the exception, the difference, the flaw. You can probably see how this one is a total game changer when it comes to feedback.
And finally, how do we judge our own performance? This is the internal versus external filter. A person with an internal frame of reference just knows. They have this built-in gut feeling for when something is good enough. They're their own judge. Someone with an external frame, though, looks for outside proof. They need that positive feedback, the good data, or someone else's approval to really know they've nailed it.
Okay, theory's over. Now let's make this real. We've got the map of the four key filters. Let's figure out where you tend to hang out by default. And remember, this is just about noticing. There are no right or wrong answers here, just observation.
So, think about your career for a second. When you talk about your goals, does your language sound more like, I want to get a promotion, learn new things, build something I'm proud of? Or is it more like, I just don't want to get stuck. I'm trying to avoid burnout. I need to prevent problems. Just notice what your first impulse is.
Now picture this. You're learning a new piece of software. What's your gut preference? Do you want someone to just give you the login and let you click around and figure it out for yourself? That's options. Or would you much rather watch a video that shows you exactly what to do? Step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. That's procedures. Which one just feels easier?
And what about that mismatch filter? Be honest. When a friend shows you their newly decorated living room, what is the very first thing your brain jumps to? Is it the beautiful color on the walls and how the rug pulls it all together? Or is it the one picture frame that's hanging just a tiny bit crooked? Again, just notice what your brain does on autopilot.
Okay, and this is where it gets really, really interesting. because once you can spot these patterns in yourself, it's like you've suddenly been given a new sense. You'll start hearing them everywhere. This isn't just about self-reflection. It's a powerful tool for social awareness that can completely change how you interact with people.
Just listen to how a politician frames an issue. Are they selling you a vision to move toward or a disaster to run away from? Notice how a car ad either talks about all the amazing features you'll get or how it'll protect you from getting in an accident. It's all right there in the language once you know what you're listening for.
You know, as NLP trainer David Gordon pointed out, that away from motivation can be incredibly powerful. He tells this story about a doctor trying to motivate a patient to manage his diabetes. Talking about future health didn't work. But when the doctor vividly described the future the patient wanted to avoid, going blind, losing his feet, that created an intense, immediate motivation.
And you see the same thing with the external pattern. This has been used to shape public opinion for over a century. A guy named Edward Bernays, one of the pioneers of PR, was an absolute master of this. He knew that for a lot of people, just saying this product is good isn't enough. They need outside validation. So what did he do? He'd get doctors to endorse a product, or famous artists to praise a brand. He was literally manufacturing the external proof that so many of us need before we feel good about a choice.
And that brings us to the most powerful part of all this. Because once you can see the filters, you can start choosing to change them. You can consciously experiment with flipping the switch, just to gain a new perspective.
This quote from Richard Bandler really gets to the heart of why this matters so much. Rigidity, being stuck in one way of thinking, is the enemy of creativity and problem solving. Learning to shift your metaprograms is like taking your brain to the gym. It builds mental flexibility. And that is what turns this from a cool idea into a really practical tool for your life.
So let's try a super simple 5-minute experiment. Step 1, pick a small, low-stakes situation where you feel a little bit stuck. Step 2, take your best guess at which default filter you're using in that moment. Step 3, for just 30 seconds, deliberately try on the opposite filter. And step 4, just notice what happens. The only goal here is curiosity. That's it.
Here are a few concrete ideas to get you started. If you find you're stuck in away from mode, just focusing on the problem, pause and ask yourself, okay, what do I actually want to create here? If you're a procedures person waiting for instructions, challenge yourself to brainstorm 3 possible ways to start on your own. And if you're a strong mismatcher, make it a personal rule to find 3 things that are working well before you point out the one thing that's wrong. All right, let's bring this all home. We've figured out the patterns, we've learned to hear them in other people, and we've even played around with changing them. So what does this all add up to? Well, it's about gaining a seriously powerful new lens to see your own mind and the world around you.
Because remember, these filters are not your identity. They are just a lens. And when you realize you can consciously choose to clean that lens, or even swap it out for a totally different one, you gain an incredible amount of freedom. You're not stuck seeing things one way anymore. You have the power to shift your own perspective whenever you want.
So I'll leave you with this question. Which one of these patterns did you recognize most clearly in yourself today? And where is one place in your life it might help to try on the opposite filter, just for a moment, and just see what changes?